Hello everyone. Welcome to an exciting DIY video. Today, I'm going to transform an old mechanical stapler into unique and practical items with just a few simple steps. It's really hard to press the stapler to release a staple. The mechanism feels stiff and looks like it's jammed. Instead of simply tossing it in the trash, I'm going to give it a second life by finding a creative way to repurpose and transform it into something useful and fun. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next awesome DIY ideas. Let's get crafty. I'm going to take an electrical wire and connect it to the metal bar at the back end of the staple. Now that the stapler is ready, it's time to move on to the wiring step. I'll start by stripping the insulation off the electrical wire to expose the inner metal core. This will make it easier to create a solid connection later. Once the wire is clean and ready, I'll carefully attach it to the metal bar at the back end of the staple, making sure it's tight and secure for the next step of the project. Here, I have a few welding rods like these. With this stapler, I can easily separate and collect this fine powder without much effort. Its small, precise mechanism makes it surprisingly effective for breaking apart and filtering the material, allowing me to gather the powder neatly for the next step of the project. I'll crush this powder into smaller particles until it becomes fine and smooth, so it will be easier to repurpose and use in the next step of the project. Next, I'll prepare another piece of electrical wire, but this time I'll add alligator clips to both ends. These clips will make it easy to attach and detach the wire securely, ensuring a steady connection when I start using the powder and setting up the rest of the experiment. The electrical wire connected to the stapler will also have its other end fitted with an alligator clip. This way, I can quickly clamp it onto different surfaces or components, ensuring a firm and reliable connection for the upcoming setup. The setup now looks a lot like a small welding rod clamp, with the stapler acting as a holder and the alligator clip at the end of the wire. Improvised welding tool ready to grip and conduct just like the real thing. I've got quite a few old batteries lying around, perfect for experimenting with this mini welding setup. Instead of throwing it away, I'm going to repurpose the inner core of the battery and turn it into a soldering tip, a clever way to give new life to old materials. I'll carefully extract the inner core from one of these old batteries. This core is usually made from conductive metal, and its size makes it perfect for precise soldering tasks. When doing this, it's important to be cautious. Avoid touching any leaky material, and always work in a well-ventilated area. Once the casing is removed, it's a great way to recycle and repurpose parts that would otherwise go to waste. Next, I'll grind the battery core to shape it into a fine soldering tip. This will help it heat up evenly and work more precisely. Now that it's been ground to the right shape, and just like that, we've turned it into a working soldering tip. The stapler holds a welding rod firmly in place, allowing the welder to work more easily without worrying about it slipping or coming loose during the process. For the power source, I'll be using a standard motorcycle battery. It's a 12V lead-acid battery, powerful enough to heat up the soldering tip and stable for small electronics work. This type of battery is easy to find, rechargeable, and delivers consistent current, which makes it perfect for our DIY soldering project. It feels solid and secure in the hand, with a firm grip that gives you confidence while holding it. The tight, sturdy construction keeps everything steady, so there's no wobbling or looseness as you work. The heat feels intense and radiating, even from a distance, and it can quickly make nearby surfaces warm to the touch. This kind of heat is strong enough to melt metal and requires protective gloves, a welding mask, and proper ventilation to prevent burns or eye damage. Now I have a broken piece of plastic, and I'm going to repair it by carefully fusing the edges back together. By applying controlled heat, the plastic softens and bonds, filling in the cracks and restoring its shape. Once cooled, the repair becomes solid and sturdy, making the plastic piece usable again. One corner of the plastic piece is broken off and separated from the main part. First, I'll secure the broken corner using super glue. This will hold the piece in place firmly and prevent it from shifting while I proceed to weld it, ensuring a more precise and stable repair. The welding rod clamp acts as a bridge, transferring electrical current from the welding cable to the welding rod. This connection allows the electrical circuit to complete when the rod touches the metal, generating an electric arc that produces intense heat. The handle of a welding rod clamp is usually covered with plastic or wood, providing insulation against electricity and heat. This protective layer helps prevent shocks and burns, allowing the user to work safely and comfortably during the welding process. I'm going to use a piece of the stapler to help weld the two plastic parts together. By positioning it carefully, it can hold the pieces in place and conduct heat evenly, making the repair more precise and secure. This way, the two plastic sections will fuse neatly, restoring the shape and strength of the broken item. Next, I'll use some of the welding rod powder I prepared earlier to fill in the gap. By carefully applying to the empty section, I can reinforce the broken area and create a solid base before proceeding with the final repair. After filling the gap with the welding rod powder, I'll add a bit of super glue on top to secure everything in place. The glue helps bind the powder to the plastic. Keeping it stable and preventing it from shifting. This combination of powder and adhesive creates a solid foundation, ensuring that the broken corner is firmly fixed and ready for final repair. After the repair, the corner feels solid and sturdy to the touch. It no longer wobbles or moves, and the bond between the plastic, powder, and glue gives it a strong, reliable hold. Holding it in hand gives a sense of confidence, as if the piece is almost as good as new, ready to be used without worrying about it breaking again. Next, I'm going to weld these two metal pipes together. By carefully aligning them and applying heat at the joint, the metal will fuse, creating a strong and seamless connection. After welding, I'll leave the pipes in place and let them cool down naturally. This allows the metal to solidify and the joint to set properly, ensuring a strong and durable bond before handling it further. I'll begin by trying to solder onto this razor blade, which is thin and metallic, making a good challenge to the tool. After just a few seconds, it cools and solidifies, creating a strong, clean connection between the wire and the razor blade. After soldering the two razor blades together, the joint feels surprisingly strong. Even when applying pressure or flexing slightly, the blades stay firmly connected without any signs of separation. The solder has bonded well to the thin metal surfaces, creating a solid bridge between them. Next, I'll solder the electrical wire to ensure secure connection. By carefully applying solder to the exposed wire in the contact point, the metal melts slightly and bonds together, creating a strong and reliable electrical connection. Once cooled, the solder joint will hold firmly, allowing electricity to flow efficiently without any loose or weak points. And that's it for today's project. By repurposing old materials like a broken stapler, dead batteries, and scrap metal, we were able to create something functional and creative. This DIY not only saves resources, but also gives everyday objects a second life in a fun and practical way. Remember, with a little imagination and patience, even the simplest items can be transformed into useful tools or unique creations. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to catch more exciting DIY ideas in the future.